Welcome here to Papua New Guinea. I'm taking you guys on a solo international flight down to Australia. We're actually going to be flying over the Great Barrier Reef on the way down to Cairns. It's a 3-hour flight. I've already gone through customs. I've already gone through immigration. I've got to get the weather. I'll show that with you, show you the paperwork, what's entailed to get out of a country and into another. So the first thing I need to do is actually spray an insecticide underneath, and then later in the flight, we'll spray it up here when we're about halfway. So on the way down, I actually have to wear this vest. It's a life vest. It's got an air tank on it. We'll go over some other items on the way, but let's go ahead and get started because it's already getting hot in here.
All right, oil pressure's coming in, NG is coming up as normal. ITT is what I'm looking at now. I'm watching that white needle, see how fast it comes up. Let's go ahead and start up the Windy app. That's what I use here in Papua New Guinea. We're here in Papua New Guinea and we're heading all the way down here, Cairns. Looks like across the water there's really not any moisture. There is a little bit of clouds down there, but I'm thinking that they're actually low clouds. So if I click on the low clouds, you can see there's quite a few scattered low clouds along the way. If we hit main clouds, there's really not any more to say. That's at 9. Let's go up here to 11 when I get down here to Cairns. Looks like a beautiful day with some clouds along the mountains. Visibility, gray, which means perfect. So that's all I need to know. We were at 1940 on the fuel, and let's put in our safe flight plan all the way down here at the bottom is where I have them. Port Moresby down to Cairns.
Port Moresby Airport, information November. Time 2130 Zulu. Expect ILS. Approach runway 14. Wind 150 degrees, 5 knots. Visibility 10 kilometers or more. Cloud view 700 feet. Broken 1000 feet. Overcast 2000 feet. Temperature 26. Dew point 25. QNH 1012.
Jackson Ground Papa 2, November Tango Zulu, request taxi. Information November.
Papa 2, November Tango Zulu, taxi holding point 14 right, time 42.
Taxi holding point 14 right, no Papa Tango Zulu. Okay, well.
Papa Tango Zulu, taxi via Delta.
Taxi via Delta for Papa Tango Zulu. Wherever Delta is, let's see, which one is that? Okay, well, not out to a great start this morning, them not being able to find my flight plan, and now being delayed about a half hour. They're landing.
Tango Zulu number 2 to the dash 8.
OB number 2, Papa Tango Zulu. We're taking off on this short runway right here. Might be able to just line up and get out of here soon, but we will see. They'll probably let this guy in front of me go first because he climbs faster, but I don't know. We will see. This is PNG. They hold you here on the ground forever sometimes. It could be some 10-mile final and they'll hold you on the ground. All right, ignition inlet and lights are all good. Harnesses is good. Switch over to tower here and hopefully they can give us a direct takeoff clearance. I doubt it though. Jackson Tower, Apollo 2, November Tango Zulu, holding point 14 right, ready for departure.
Papa 2 November Tango Zulu, Jackson Tower, good morning, hold short 14 right.
Hold short 14 right, Apollo Tango Zulu. What I mean? Okay, well let's go ahead and get my flight plan back in here because I had to restart. All right. While we're waiting, it is 31 degrees out here, so 30 degrees at sea level is 1590 on the torque. That way I am ready to go. I already got my number here for my depart on takeoff performance. I'm going to be rotating at 59 knots. Put that in here earlier, but let's go ahead and put that back in here. There we go. And all the way back up to 18,000 feet unless they give me an altitude that I'll have to hold to maybe on the way out of here. We'll see once they give me takeoff clearance. Like I said, he was on probably an 8-mile final when I pulled up to the holding point. Where down in Australia and Cairns, they'll get you going when there's airplanes on like a 3-mile final.
Papa to November, Tango Zulu, line up 148.
Line up 14 right, Papa Tango Zulu.
Papa to November Tango Zulu, runway 14 right, maintain runway heading, contact radar airborne, clear for takeoff.
14 right, radar airborne, clear for takeoff, runway heading. Papa 2 November Zulu. Alright, let's go, finally. Alright, airspeed's alive. There's 59, rotate. Bump up our ITT up to 740 just a little bit. Looks like 6 knots of headwind. Looks like a really nice day getting out of here and a really nice day all the way down on our flight to Australia as well. There's 500 feet, let's go 10 degrees of flaps. Over 95, let's go 0 degrees today. Just keep pulling back as those flaps go up. And let's bring our prop ever so slowly back to 2000 RPM. ITT settling in right at 720. We're on runway heading. Let's put our heading mode just so I don't get off runway heading and get distracted. When your plans don't go quite as planned, even for myself, it can get you a little bit flustered and then you start making little mistakes along the way. So getting things like autopilot, different things like that set up so that you don't make bigger mistakes is pretty important. Jackson Radar, Papa 2 November Tango Zulu, passing 2000 on climb 8000 runway heading.
2 November Tango Zulu, Jackson Radar, good morning. Identified. When ready, make a right turn, pilot intercept 184 radio.
When ready, right turn, pilot intercept 184 radio, Papa Tango Zulu. There we go. What that means is I can do my right turn and intercept into that magenta line right there. Let's do bypass normal, igniters off. We'll leave our landing light on temporarily. Actually, let's just turn that off. We still have our taxi pulse lights going, so we'll just leave those on while we're here in their airspace. What I do is keep on going in the right-hand turn until I can intercept that probably around a 30-degree or so angle. Easiest way for me to be able to do that is put that little green line or that green circle right about there.
X-ray Romeo, contact Moresby radar 119.3.
Radar 193, X-ray, morning.
Morning.
I'm going to hold down heading and hit nav twice. That puts nav GPSS up here as well. So then once I get to that magenta line, it will automatically level me off and connect into it. Alright, there we go. We're just now about ready to get into it. You can already start to see, the plane's already starting to turn to intercept into it. This is an unpressurized airplane. I've got my oxygen here. Once we get up a little bit higher, I will go ahead and flip that on for the remainder of the flight. Alright, they just switched me over to Jackson Radar. Jackson Radar, Papa 2 November Tango Zulu, passing 16,000 on climb 18,000.
Papa 2 on November Tango Zulu, Moresby radar, good morning. QNH 1011.
1011, Papa Tango Zulu. Okay, we just switched that altimeter setting right there. We're just about approaching 18,000 feet, that's why I have my oxygen on now. And looking ahead, it looks like kind of what we were looking at on Windy Ab, where we have some low clouds down low above the water, but really nice and clear above. Every which way you look. Now that we're leveled off, our airspeed's starting to climb up. We should be kind of topping off right around 118 to 120 knots indicated, and should be right around 160 or so in the true airspeed. Thankfully, only 2 knots of headwind, which is really nice. We just had about 6 knots about 2 minutes ago, just a couple hundred feet below, so that is good. Now that we're up at 18,000 feet, we're a little bit further away from Port Moresby. I wanted to go over some of the items that make this flight unique. One, flying over water further than 50 miles, so I have to have some extra gear with me. And then also flying into another country and what that entails. So, first and foremost, I have to wear a life vest. I don't have to wear it probably, I just happen to have it. But I wear it all the times in case of an emergency. I don't want to have to be messing around trying to get it put on with my seatbelt and then back on with my oxygen and everything else. If I have to take my oxygen off and then put it on, then, well, you just don't make as good of decisions without the oxygen at 18,000 feet, because this is a non-pressurized. Secondly, I've got a raft on board. This is a 4-person raft with a maximum capacity of 6 people. I just have it seat belted onto the floor in case I was to be in an accident or something like that. It's not going to get damaged by hitting something else. In my vest here, I do have an air tank. I just took it off recently because it was just kind of really bothering me on the side. Typically I have it on the other side. You can kind of tuck it in here. But on the right side, it was just very annoying. Then in my vest here, let's open up the things and show you what I have. I have an EPIRB, which basically put out an emergency beacon, a portable beacon, and then I have a really long lanyard that could go in the water and then string out to make myself a little bit more visible if need be. And then on this side, I have some pouches of water and I have a seatbelt cutter in here. Then these little plastic things of emergency drinking water. And then I have a mirror, and I just have them all velcroed on here, actually tied on so they can't actually fall into the water and lose them somewhere. And underneath this vest is just one of those yellow ones. You just pull these 2 things here and it airs up. Let's go over what I have to do paperwork-wise. It takes about an hour or so. We have an Excel sheet that has all of the required forms, and then we have all these instructions that we have to go through, and you have to print out a bunch of things, and then you have to email a bunch of things, and then you have to save them all. So sometimes you email them to people, and then other ones you just save onto your computer and bring with you. So I'm going to just go through them, and then I'll just show some blank ones on the screen so you guys can see what it is that you're looking at here with this. This is a GenDec, a general declaration. So leaving Papua New Guinea, I have to have one, and leaving Cairns on the way back in a couple of days, I have to have another one. So Port Moresby did all their stamping and signing of this one. Just basically says that when I'm leaving, when I'm arriving in Cairns, who's on the airplane, if this is a medevac or something, if there's any passengers, and if I'm taking any cargo with me. But today, clearly I'm not. Then I have an inwards and outwards crew report. So this is the inwards, outwards when I leave Cairns in 2 days. It looks exactly the same as just the outwards report. Then we have impending arrival report. This basically, they all kind of say the same thing. To be honest, it just says, this is the airplane, this is the pilot, this is when I'm flying, and this is when I'm supposed to get there. Next, we have our crew declaration. This is basically the same thing that you would fill out if you were to go into Australia, and a little card that they hand out to everybody, or you can do it online. That's all this is, just saying, are you bringing anything illegal in? Are you bringing any, let's see, more than 25 kgs of tobacco products, or more than $10,000 of cash, or food, nuts, things like that. Next, we have the itinerant aircraft access request. This is what I sent to actual Cairns Airport, and then they give me a bay assignment, which I think is 1 Echo today. I need to verify when I do get closer. I was trying to find my email, but it didn't update now that I'm out of service, so. And this is for the blue spray. I'm saying, yes, I did spray it underneath and then in here once we get a little bit closer. That's just to kill any bugs. Then arrival report, when I land, I need to write down my actual arrival time. So those 2 we will be giving to immigration, and then they verify, yep, okay, we're good on bugs. And then I go through customs as well once I get down there, just like anybody else, but because I have a badge and things, I can cut the line and get there a lot quicker. And that's it. That's really all you need to be able to do an international flight. There's one extra thing. I have to file some stuff on a website for Australia, and I'm basically requesting like a port authority where I have to request to come into their country. And I do all this about a week to a week and a half in advance in case there's any problems. And then leaving Papua New Guinea, I have to get basically approval saying, okay, yes, you can take your aircraft that is registered in Papua New Guinea out of the country down to Australia. And that's why I say Papa 2 November Tango Zulu, because that's my full international call sign. But then once we've made that call, then all I have to do is just say Papa Tango Zulu. So you might hear me saying it different ways each time. Okay, we just got to Copso. I don't think we're going to be able to get a hold of it, but let's try. Get a hold of Brisbane Center.
Level 370, thank you, Cathay 101.
Brisbane Center, Papa 2 November Tango Zulu. I'm just going to call him before I say everything.
Papa 2 November Tango Zulu, Brisbane Center, good day, reading you 3s.
Good day, Papa 2 November Tango Zulu, flight level 180, squawking 7426, estimating PUPEB 56.
Papa 2 November Tango Zulu, roger, thank you, and confirm overhead capso time.
Overhead capso this time, Papa Tango Zulu.
Papa Tango Zulu.
Well, I'm actually amazed that I got a hold of him today. I mean, probably like 1 out of every 10 tries on these flights do you actually get a hold of him right here at Capso. It's usually about 10 minutes down the way. Another thing that I do is I bring along a cheat sheet for myself because I only do these flights maybe like 4 times a year, maybe sometimes less. I think this year's only been maybe 3 times, I think. My biggest fear with flying is sounding like an idiot on the radio, and flying into another country like Australia, their terminology, how they say things, different things like that is a little bit different than Papua New Guinea. Like you heard me say flight level 180, where New Guinea is like 18000. And just how they're very ICAO and they're very structured. They want you to say it exactly right and everything. Where New Guinea, they say things just a little bit different, and even the controllers don't always say things quite right.
Qantas 840, center.
So coming into Australia with how busy the radios are, I made myself a cheat sheet years ago when I very first started doing these flights. I don't know how many years, maybe like 6 or 7 years ago or something like that. But I still bring it along every time, and it helps me refresh my memory on like, oh yeah, this is kind of what I'm expecting. And when I can expect the radio call, my brain can articulate and kind of think what I need to say a little bit better. So I'll flip this up on the screen so you guys can see exactly what it is that I have on here. But like my flight to Cairns, I have going to Moresby and kind of along the steps. If I'm going at 11,000, this is what I'm going to expect. If I'm going at 17,000, this is what I'm going to expect. They're going to give me, you know, my clearance into the controlled airspace. And then along the way, I go to Moresby radar, then I go to Jackson radar. And then I have tower, and just so I don't have to look up all the frequencies, different things like that, because we don't go down to these places very often. And then I even wrote down what to expect for my clearances that they're going to be giving me, because that's one thing, you might not notice it, but because I say the same ones now, but if I go to a brand new place, like that is very difficult for me to be able to hear something and then be able to regurgitate it in a way that is exactly how they want you to say it. So after I do it a few times, it's not that big of a deal. But the first few times, I'm like, whoa, because we just don't have the same clearances and things like that where we fly. And then I have a lot of different frequencies because sometimes, like I was saying, this is a dead zone, and the frequencies you get are given don't actually work.
Flight level 360 direct to Rickfa. Course 922, Brisbane, Cessna Caravan.
So I have all the secondary ones that I've tried over all these different years. They'll be like, oh, we can try this one. Oh, you can try this one. So I'll write those down. And then if I have an emergency or something, I'll at least have some standby ones that I can get a hold of somebody in case I am in the dead zone. Then coming into Cairns, I also have what to expect. Maybe if it's a VFR day, if it's an IFR day, what am I going to expect for my arrival? What am I going to expect for my approach? Or is it going to be a VFR arrival, things like that? And then coming back on the other side from Cairns all the way back to Port Moresby. So yes, I even have a cheat sheet myself because I don't want to sound like an idiot on the radio.
Papa 2 November Tango Zulu.
Contact me on 123.8.
Brisbane Center, Papa 2 November Tango Zulu, flight level 180, standing by for onwards.
Papa 2 November Tango Zulu, Brisbane Centre identified, cleared to Cairns via PUPEB, and from PUPEB then cemented Zany, cleared Cody 8 Alpha arrival, Zany transition, maintain flight level 180.
Cleared to Cairns via PUPEB, then Zany, Cody 8 Alpha arrival with a Zany transition, flight level 180, Papa Tango Zulu. Okay, so what that is we're here almost up to PUPEB, and then we do, let's head over here to procedures.
X-ray, go quick landed, Cooktown, cancel so much.
Select the arrival. We want Cody 8 Alpha arrival via the Zany transition.
Information Sierra current.
Now once we head past PUPEB, then we head over to Zany and basically do the arrival, which lines us up for the instrument approach. We'll get the weather here. I believe I can get it now, actually.
Cairns Terminal information, Sierra. Expect instrument approach runway 15. Wind 130 degrees 18 knots. Maximum crosswind 14 knots. Visibility greater than 10 kilometers. Showers in area. Cloud. Scattered 1,800 feet. Scattered 3,500 feet. Temperature 29 QNH1015.
Okay, I got what I needed to get. Biggest thing that I'm looking for there is scattered 1800, 3500, temperatures 29. We're going to be shooting the approach 15 into there. So once I start my descent, I'll switch over to the local QNH of 1015. Looks like a maximum crosswind of 14 knots. With information Sierra. I want, if we come over here, if we come all the way down to Gun Row, we want 5,000 feet by Gun Row. So I'm going to put 5,000 feet there and come all the way down here, and we're going to put in 800 feet per minute. That way, in case they don't give me lower, which they will probably, but in case they don't, it will at least tell me top of descent so that I can know when I need to head down. Okay, we're only about a half hour from Cairns right now. They're slowing me down. You guys can see I'm just not even on my track right now, and I'm only going 100 knots right now because it's so busy there. So they've slowed me down about 20 minutes. I'm trying to get over this user point at 5.6. It's 5.2 right now, so they're just giving me vectors back and forth. They did just clear me down to 7,000, so at my own liking. So let's go ahead and go on down now, because my top of descent is right there coming up, and that's set in at 800 feet per minute. So I might as well just go on down now. But I am going to have to pull my power to maintain that 100
vertical
knots
track
on the way down as well. Otherwise, I'm just going to speed up too fast. QNH is 1014, so we can update QNH now that we're on our descent. We can also do our spray now. Okay, and I need to write it on here just so they know how much I've been spraying in here, and then before I left.
Far 2 November Tango Zulu, we're only heading for about another 15 miles.
Papa Tango Zulu. Alright, well, that's kind of annoying. Well, we are on the arrival, the Cody 8 Alpha arrival. Here we are. We are doing the zany transition. But now we're just kind of zigzagging back, trying to get to 20 miles to run Cody. All the way around in there at 5.6. I'm still only going to get there at 5.2, so that's why he's going to have me going this way.
Foxtrot Delta Quebec, contact approach 126.1.
Foxtrot 126.1, Foxtrot Delta Quebec.
Once we get off of this, once we get past Cody, we'll be switching over. I already got my approach in here right now, down to Gun Road at 5,000 feet. So that's what my top of descent is running off of, is 5,000 feet. You can also see 5,000 feet right here.
Papa Tango Zulu, turn further right, heading 250.
Right, 250, Papa Tango Zulu. All right, 250. So because the autopilot in the Kodiak is limited to 100 knots, that's what I'm limiting myself. So I slowed the plane down to 100 knots, and if I couldn't make his time, I just asked for vectors, because I don't want to hand fly it for like 45 minutes going 85 knots just so I can make his time. It's a lot easier just to fly at 100 knots and zigzag back and forth. Well, you guys can see, I don't know if my rear camera is showing anything right now, but down below us is part of the Great Barrier Reef. Also, I did not film it, but I did call the airport, and I'm on Bay 1 Charlie. I thought it was a 1 Echo, so it's a good thing I called. Okay, now it's saying 5.6. Hopefully he'll give me a thing. If he doesn't here in a couple minutes and it keeps going past it, like 5.7 or something, then I'll just let him know, hey, I can make that at this point, so maybe he'll turn me.
Papa 2 November Tango Zulu, resume main navigation, track Cody to rejoin the star on descent 7,000.
We're clear to track direct Cody is 7,000, Papa 2 November Tango Zulu. Alright, he said
Papa 2 November Tango Zulu, resume normal speed.
Resume normal speed, Papa Tango Zulu. Thank goodness. So, let's make a left-hand turn, start powering up. And let's hit direct to Cody. There we go. We've already got the updated ATIS Tango. We've got 118.4 in here next. I've got 1249 on the next one, and then also 1217 on the next one. We've got our ILS on both of these right here.
Papa November Tango Zulu, contact approach 118.4.
118.4, Papa Tango Zulu. Cairns approach Papa 2 November Tango Zulu on descent 7000, direct Cody.
Papa 2 November Tango Zulu, Cairns approach, descend via start 5000, cleared ILS approach, runway 15, and confirm information Tango.
Confirm Tango, cleared to descend 5000 via the star, cleared to the ILS 15, Papa Tango Zulu.
Unity 9800, resume navigation, cleared direct QPEB.
Okay, down to 5,000.
Navigation direct QPEB 9800.
Want to make sure I'm there by...
9800, reference your airwork, what time were you intending to return to Cairns?
Alright, she gave me 5,000 via the star. I'm kind of on this Lockla line right here, which is 5,900 feet until I get to at least Cody, and then 5,000. So I'm actually going to slow it down just a little bit so that I get to, well, let's see, here we go. That's what I could do. It's 5,900
All
feet.
stations, Cairns information, uniform 2 changes, wind 120 degrees, 15 knots, maximum crosswind 12 knots, temperature 29er.
Alright, temperature 29er. So I just put in 5,900, that
Vertical
way
track.
it shows me this little line right here. I want to get to 5,900 foot by then, and then I can go on down to 5,000.
Tango November Quebec, identification and control services terminated, frequency change approved.
Which should be a little bit of a steep
Tango November
descent. Okay, now
Papa 2 November Tango Zulu, report speed.
139er, Papa Tango Zulu.
Papa Tango Zulu.
After this, we're going down to 3,700 feet past gun row. We'll go down at 1,000 feet per minute. That way we can intercept. Okay, it looks like it did just automatically go into my approach now. Once I hit gun row, it should just automatically sequence in. And then I'll start heading down to 3,700 feet. We'll switch our CDI over here if it does not do it, over to our ILS, or our localizer, I should say. Almost 5,000, looks like a nice VFR day here in Cairns. That's nice. There we go, leveling off 5,000. Here we are at gun row. There we go, just switched over, so 3,700 feet. And we're gonna go on down at 1,000 feet per minute. We'll switch our CDI over to our localizer number 1. And then we're going to hit nav approach right here, so nav approach. Our glide slope is right there. We'll be coming in just in a second of that. We'll keep our speeds up all the way down until short final, just in case. I know it's so busy here today, I don't want to have to slow anybody else down for no reason. Make sure my lights are on, landing, and my pulse light, prop and harness. We've got everything else ready to go. We should intercept into the glide slope. You got the white GS here for glide slope. Once we start going down, it will turn green here in just a second. There we go, just turned green. Now it starts going down. At Cessna, we're going to verify QNH. Our glide slope check, 2,900 feet. If it's above, add. If it's below, don't do anything. All right. Went up half a mile, looks like it should be right on 2,900 feet. Nope, it's going to be below, so don't do anything.
Papa Tango Zulu, connect tower 1249, see ya.
Over to tower, Papa Tango Zulu, thanks. Cairns Tower, Papa 2, November Tango Zulu on the LS-15.
Papa 2 November Tango Zulu, Cairns Tower.
I'm keeping my 140 all the way down to about 3 miles, then I'll push my prop forward, pull my power, start getting my flaps in as quickly as I can.
Cairns Tower, X-ray November Quebec. Visual approach 154 on Kodiak. X-ray November Quebec, Cairns Tower.
switch this over to ground now, get that ready. I'll probably be coming over the numbers at like 80 to 90 knots, a little bit fast. I'll float for a while, but my plan is to taxi off on Charlie, the second taxiway in, rather than the very first one, Bravo, because all the airplanes are coming down to get out there, so they don't want me doing that.
To November Tango Zulu, Bravo 2 is available, clear to land.
Bravo 2 is available, clear to land. Papa Tango Zulu. Alright. I don't know if there's anybody behind me. I don't see anybody down here, but I don't see anybody on the taxiway, so up end harness is complete. Let's get some air going in here again.
500.
All right, a little bit of wind shear. Actually, lots of wind shear.
Minimums.
10 degrees flaps. My goodness, the wind shear is crazy.
Contact approach, see ya.
7 knots crosswind. Said maximum 12. Let's go 20 degrees of flaps. Go full flaps. Checklist is complete. Oh, I don't get our flaps up. We'll take Bravo 2 here. Stick it off.
November Tango Zulu, contact ground 1217, see ya.
Over to ground, thank you, Papa Tango Zulu. Cairns ground, Papa 2, November Tango Zulu, Bravo 2 for Bay 1 Charlie.
Papa 2, November Tango Zulu, Cairns ground, taxi by Charlie 1, tormented Bay 1 Echo.
Charlie 1 to Bay 1 Echo, Papa Tango Zulu. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this flight down here with me. I'll be actually flying out of here in a couple of days, and we'll probably film the return flight as well. Not sure when I'll post it. But leave some comments down below. If you guys have questions, maybe I can answer those questions in another video like this. But give this video a thumbs up if you guys did enjoy something a little bit fresh, something new other than just the bush locations that I go to. I think they're a little bit more fun, but I also really enjoy coming down here because this is more of a challenge for me because radios is not my expertise, that's for sure. So I will be going through all my customs, everything here, and then after that I'm going to be going to the other side of the airport and parking the airplane for a couple of days.